Hi all, welcome to week 4. This week what you're going to be doing is you're going to have a couple of chapters to read. You're going to have one library assignment similar to the ones we did last week. And then you're going to have another small project that you're going to do. We'll go through all of that here in a second. So here, if we go to the unit view, the first thing you need to do is make sure to read over all of the instructions at the beginning of the week by Dr. Sanborn. He's going to tell you a little bit about everything that we're going to do, including using the databases and writing a opinion column. And the idea of this one is to be a column like you would send to the newspaper. It's not going to have any sources or anything like that, but it's going to be just basically your opinion about a social work issue. And you're going to write it for a broader audience, like normal people that don't know anything about social work. So, alright, first thing that you're going to do is you have your 2 chapters to read. The first chapter is chapter 19 of the Writer's Handbook, which is about using unbiased language and word usage. And the first part of this chapter is all about, first part of this chapter is all about using language that acknowledges people for who they are. And I would not be surprised if some of you, when you start reading this, your first reaction is to roll your eyes a little bit, even if you don't say that in class. Some of this stuff can seem a little bit tedious and a little bit silly. This is talking about person first language and talking about gender pronouns and talking about special ways of referring to people of color and that sort of thing. But it is super important, and I hope that you will approach it with an open mind. Using person first language is a really useful way of humanizing people that takes them from being the homeless to being a person who is homeless. It makes them a human being and not just a disease or something like that. It takes them from being, an illegal immigrant to being a, person who migrated to the United States. Doing those kinds of things is really important to show people that you're, see them as a person, and to show them that you're trying. And it's the same with the gender pronouns that you're going to learn in here as well, and the ways of referring to people of different races and sexes and backgrounds and things like that. All of those things are important, even if you might come from a place where they don't seem very important. Try to keep an open mind, like I said. The second part of the chapter is going to cover a lot of tricky word usage, words that you may have been using wrong for a long time. Yeah, there's a lot of them in here that you may have found yourself using, but a lot of, they're also missing a whole lot of them as well. The basic ones like which there you should use and which its you should use and stuff like that is all in here. And whether and that kind of thing. So it's going to go through that. It's going to give you some tips as to how to avoid some of those and make your language sound a little more fancy and intelligent. The other chapter that we're going to read here is from the Easy Writer. It's chapter 17, and this one covers APA. Most of this is going to be stuff that you've seen before. It's the same sort of stuff that we saw on Purdue OWL, and so you're mostly just going to be using this as a review. Look through the different ways that things are cited, look through the different ways that references are used. At the end, it has a sample of a college research paper that somebody did in APA, and you can look through it and see the format of that. This is not the kind of paper that we're going to be writing in here, actually. We're only going to be doing literature review. So keep that in mind. This isn't what your literature review should look like. This is just another kind of paper that you will definitely do later, but that we're not actually doing in here. Alright, so those are the chapters. And then we get to the discussion board. So, there's 4 different sets of things here. The first one here is covering the opinion column. I'll go ahead and open that one up. The opinion column, like I said, is a column like you would do for a newspaper. 500 to 600 words. It has to be between those two. It needs to have proper spelling and grammar, punctuation, and everything. And it needs to cover an opinion that you have related to social work. Like the example that you're going to see later on is about how a lady who took the class before is arguing that students who get out of rehabilitation, like high school students, should be able to go to a high school specifically for rehabilitation, where they're away from all of their friends and all the influences that could throw them right back into the problems that they had before. And so she doesn't have any sources or anything in there. She doesn't cite anybody else, and neither should you. You're not trying to do that. All you're trying to do is make a really strong argument in 500 to 600 words. So if you have any questions about that, you'll post that here. This is the sample as well, but there's another version of it. It's the same one, really, but it's down here in the opinion column assignment. So if you have questions about it, you can post them here. And then over at the very bottom, this one here, if we open that up, it looks like this. This is the full text version of the opinion instructions. So read over all of this. There's a lot of stuff in here about how to put your paper in APA. I can actually show you the easy way to do that now. Don't tell Dr. Sanborn that I showed you this, but this is the fast and easy way to get your paper to be in APA. When you get to New in Word, you have all of these documents down here, these different templates. All you have to do is click APA. And the first one that pops up here will be a template that's already in APA format. You can open that up, plus create. And all of this is already in the right font, the right size for text, everything's spaced correctly. You have all of your headers and everything done. All you have to do is go back and put in your own information, your own abstract, and everything like that. You're not going to have an abstract for this one, of course, because it's just an opinion column, so you can pretty much delete everything from here down, and then just write in your own stuff. So you just delete all of this and replace it with your own stuff. You can do the same thing for most of the other documents that we'll have in the class. Alright. Yeah, don't save that. Go away. Okay. So, yeah. Make sure you're following all of these rules. I will grade on those. And, again, 500 to 600 words. It doesn't need to have any sources. It shouldn't have any sources. Remember, you're writing this for a regular person who doesn't know anything about social work. So if there's something you feel like they might not know, explain it to them. They have this is a normal newspaper reader who doesn't necessarily know the ins and outs of the issue that you're really passionate about. So explain as much of that to them as you can. And the hard part's going to be fitting it into those 500 to 600 words, because you might find that you have a lot to say about this. I recommend using the same argument for this, using the same topic for this that you're going to use for your research paper later, your literature review later on. This will help you build up your ideas about it. It will also help you to think about what you need to do research on later on. When you do that, don't use any of this in your actual text, because that's self-plagiarism, but you can use the same ideas. Okay, so let's look at the other ones. Language usage and social work writing. So this one is about this is your response to the text. So once you've read over the chapters, you'll just also read over these questions, and then you will reply to this message. Make sure, just read over the chapter first before you reply to this. And I'd honestly recommend doing all of these right now as well, so that you don't forget them. I would forget them. Social work, periodical database. So this is the other little assignment that you'll have this week. This is where you're going to go to the library databases. You're going to search for these two particular databases here. This is Social Work Reference Center and Social Index. Normally I would show you everything about how to get to that, but I can't right now because of this. Because of our recent internet-related issues, the databases aren't available at my house right now. And I looked at the other schools that I work at, and they don't actually have these databases. So we'll just have to go as far as we can. If we go to databases here, all you have to do is click on the S and scroll down until you find both of them. Social Work Reference Center and Social Index. And you open both of these up, and you're just going to use the same search terms in both of them. Yeah, this is what we get right now. If these don't open up at some point during the week, then we'll just put this assignment off until later. But yeah, open both of those up if you get the chance. Put the same search terms into each of them, and then see what comes up. See how many references you get, and try to analyze exactly why. Basically, one of them has a lot more access than the other one does, and one of them is a lot more specific than the other. But one of them, if you put these search terms in, you'll get 20,000 results, and one of them you get 7. So make sure to, if you can, make sure to do that by Friday at midnight, or by Monday at midnight, rather. Alright, the last one is email Q&A. This is about the assignment that you turned in last week, where you wrote an email to the library. So I've gone through all of those, I've given them all grades, and I'm going to post in this announcement a suggestion list of different issues that come up with a lot of emails. You guys didn't actually do a lot of these issues, and I'm not sure if that's because that was such a strict prompt, or if it was because you actually just know how to write emails. I suspect it's more of the first one, but that's not your problem. Yeah, I think if I do this one again, I will probably make it a little more open-ended, so you have to pick like a specific person among faculty to send an email to. But anyway, the main things that I noticed were a couple of people were missing some of the header, which was telling where the email was going. That was the biggest way that people lost points. Other people, again, I saw making a lot of spelling, grammar, punctuation, errors like that. And for those people, I've mentioned before that you should probably download Grammarly. You should be using your spell check software. You should set it to English if it's not already set to English. And because that's the first thing that I do when I grade your papers, is I immediately just put it through Grammarly. And some of y'all are getting lit up like the 4th of July. This is a good place for learning to fix that, but it's going to be a bigger problem later on in your career if that's still happening. So make sure that you're fixing those things, and make sure that you're reading over all of your assignments before you turn them in, because when you get to your upper level classes, grammar and spelling is the main way that you're going to be graded in a lot of your courses that you take. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. You need to make sure that you, make sure that you do all of these. For the Q&As, for the opinion column, if you have any questions, ask about that. For the email column, if you have any questions about the grade you got, ask about that. Don't put what your actual grade is, please, because we don't, you probably don't want to share that information. But if you have questions about what you did wrong or something, you can put it there. Both of these are optional if you think you really have it under control. The ones that aren't optional here, the language usage one and the periodical database one, unless this one doesn't ever work. Alright, best of luck, guys. I'll see you in the discussions, and have a great week.